Thanksgiving is a time to gather with friends and family and just be grateful. But for some, it can actually be a pretty difficult day because of the focus on that big meal. Erin Harrop joins us now. She's an assistant professor at DU who specializes in eating disorders and weight stigma. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
So why is Thanksgiving in general so triggering for people?
Well, I think especially for people who have a history of disordered eating or eating disorders, it's really highlighting and centering food. And for many people, that can make them live in their minds. There can be triggering conversations, comments about people's bodies or the food that we're eating that can just really distract from the fun of the holiday.
Yeah, I always wonder why people want to make a comment about somebody's plate in that moment. It's
I
little or a lot, like
exactly.
It doesn't matter.
And those comments, whether it's about someone eating too much or not enough, that can be harmful for everybody. And I always remind people too, like, you never know who's listening to those comments. So you might be saying that to Uncle Steve, but you know, 9-year-old Jason down the hall could be overhearing those conversations and making judgments about their own bodies or their own food.
It's hard to hear. So, you know, the holidays often are a time when people who haven't seen each other for a long time see each other, and it might be the only time of the year that they see each other. What are some things that people should be looking for to see if somebody might be struggling?
Yeah, well, I think, you know, paying attention to how people act around the meal. So if you're noticing that someone's maybe a little bit in their head, maybe they're struggling to eat the food on their plate or they're pushing it around, those can be signals that their anxiety is a little bit higher around food. And similarly, if you're noticing kind of larger body changes in that person in terms of particularly weight loss is what we're usually more worried about with eating disorders, kind of recognizing that that person could be going through a hard time. I wouldn't bring it up at Thanksgiving.
I was going to ask you that, because like, what's the appropriate way to talk about those kinds of things?
But I do think, you know, if you're noticing things that have you concerned, having a private conversation with that person, really normalizing that many people struggle with disordered eating and eating disorders, and encouraging that person to speak with a professional is, or even, you know, their primary care doctor as a starting place is really good.
Good place to go. We talk about the comments people make. I think back to times where I'm I'm the guy who likes to eat, and so sometimes we'll be like, having a lot there, huh? Or I've also noticed that people sometimes will say, if I don't have a lot on my plate, you don't have a lot on your plate. What are the comments that we should be mindful about making to people?
Yeah, I mean, I would say in general, if you're thinking about commenting on what someone's eating or how their body looks, just don't. If you're thinking about commenting about how healthy or unhealthy a food is, how many calories is in something, or whether or not you're gonna have to go to the gym to work off whatever it is that you eat. Any of those conversations we can just leave at the door. If you wanna talk about the food, like focus on the senses. What does it smell like, taste like, look like? What's the texture? Like, kind of be like a little scientist with your food, as opposed to kind of focusing in on comments that make it seem good or bad to eat a certain way.
Compliment the chef.
Yeah, compliment the chef, the effort.
Yeah.
And then focus on connection. Food doesn't have to be the focus of all of our conversation. We can focus on, you know, updates from people's lives, you know, what people are doing, that moment for connecting with people that we don't get to see as often.
I love the idea. I've heard this so many times, that food is love.
Yes,
right? Like, because somebody makes a meal for you, they're trying to like show their love in that, and like it's a place where everyone gathers. Trying to keep it focused on the positive is so important.
I think sometimes we can think that thinking food is love is a negative thing, right? Like, oh, I comfort myself with food and that's a bad thing. But recognizing that food is a tool. It connects us to our heritages, to our ancestors, to our cultures, to our friends. It's a way of getting introduced to new types of food that we wouldn't otherwise have. And so I think focusing on those connection moments with the food and not feeling guilty if you feel joy or feel comfort, because that's a beautiful thing.
I love it so much. Erin, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.